Low. Never know exactly when it goes live. Welcome. Welcome to this Oracle update with no video. All right. Welcome to this forecast, this transmission, this preparation for the coming eclipse and for the prerequisite requirements for the tipping point in the evolution of our great Mother Geia, Sister Tara. If you are tuning in live, please let me know that you are tuning in live. Bump in a hello. Support the message by commenting, communicating. The more comments and communication that is in this space, the more that this message can be met by those beloved brothers and sisters that are desiring to find and be in resonance of this information. There is also awareness that as a being, my resonance is suppressed from the collective social media. And so I am doing my absolute best energetically to break these suppression points so that my information can be shared far and wide. So if this is the first time you're tuning into any of my information, I am Geeia Ariati. I am of sound heart and sound mind, and I have been assigned the role of Oracle for the 144. The 144 is not a number, it is a DNA genetic composition and strand, and it is the mutation for those that have come in from higher states of consciousness to be the bringers of change here on planet Earth. We are here to shift and evolve, and what we are at is a point in time that has been predicted, planned for, and met in much deliberation as to how to make sure that we reach the trajectories and ensure all problem solving and previous mishaps through trial and error have come to a point where we can transition with as much ease and grace. However, we are still in a state of amnesia, and whilst we are in a state of amnesia and forgetful consciousness and separation, it is rather challenging for us to maintain the stability receiving of our information sources and the telepathic communication from our higher selves and from God Source Creator. So thank you for tuning in live, and when you are coming in, all of my transmissions come with a warning. I'm learning to do this as quickly as possible. Warning is, please do not listen to these transmissions whilst driving or while operating heavy machinery or anything that may cause damage or danger to your experience or to others. Be discerning of where you are and give yourself presence in this space. These frequencies that you are receiving are from the 23rd dimension and above, and directly coming through from a pure channel of source connection. Because of the high level frequencies that are moving through the field, you may receive tingles, technical difficulties, and Maria Tatakayandiana, Osho Takoriana, Detakariana, Kundalini activation, visuals, remembrance, and physical disturbance to your reality. To ensure that you receive this with as much ease and grace, you are more than welcome to receive with your eyes open. However, I'm going to mute that. So how to ensure that you receive this for your greatest good, for your highest timeline, it would be in invitation for you to come into a place of centeredness and to close your eyes and to receive with your inner source guidance, so that you're not only creating this transmission and channel with me by gifting your source energy so the information stream is more easeful and graceful, but also that you will see with your own insight what is here for you in relation to the preparations. So not just the information of that which I'm sharing. So just a couple of insights. Please drop in the comments below what is arising for you in these moments of ownership, anchoring, and transition. Those are the themes of energies that we are moving through, and they are actually coinciding with the galactic trials. If there's any further information that you would like on the weather prediction information, the galactic trials, or the previous information of why what is taking place, please ensure that you follow me on YouTube. And there are already conversations with higher intelligence information that provide as much insight as I have as a directive, whilst keeping people in a state of union. So I do not come from a place of fear mongering, nor do I come from a place of ascension or descension. I am a unity consciousness member, a member of the Council of One, and I'm here to bring sovereignty to the human race. Is that all? Yes, wonderful. All right, because I am directly communicating with the council, and at the moment you are hearing and receiving from my highest monetic expression. So I would like you to take a note of when you receive me in this state of being, if you can receive me, because apparently I don't want to stay on the screen. Now, when you're receiving me in this state of being, the frequencies that are coming through me are a frequency from the 23rd dimension, and from different layers in between that of consciousnesses that I have held to activate and to gift the templates and coding that you're ready to receive with an open heart. That is why it is so imperative for you to be grounded, open-hearted, and in a place of receptivity. Yet feeling the difference between this information and the way that I communicate to you and what comes up in your body in this way, and then what happens when you receive a direct transmission from the Council of One or through the full pure expression of Source. I will have my eyes closed for that. And just to start to become aware of your own receptivity and receiving. What is it that your body feels like when you are receiving information that is nourishing, nurturing, and activating for your being in a way that brings you closer to Source? And what happens in your body when you are receiving information that perhaps is not aligned with the intention of unity? And this is an important expression of information at the moment because there are many agendas at play. We are at a time where all strings are being pulled, all thoughts are being manipulated. Any avenue where you have holes within your auric field, your psyche, they are being poked, prodded, and we'll say strings are being pulled in specific ways for you to experience different things. So please share in the comments what you're currently traversing, and how prepared you're feeling for this transition and what's at play. All right. Mia teria coriandea naya shete keria toto coriane. Today's transmission, I am going to open us up with a state of prayer and connection to Source. And so it will start with a level of meditative altered state of consciousness practice, whether or not you call it a drop in. We don't really need to drop into anything. We just really need to open and be present with ourselves. And that you will be able to allow your cells, atoms, and molecules to come into the highest state of being that you have available to you in this now moment. And it will allow for me to clear the energy field before I bring through this information. So it is a simultaneously beautiful experience and allows for us to open and come into the place of remembrance that is of our greatest, highest expression. So just arriving into this space and allowing yourself to fully bring awareness to your vessel. Bring awareness to your posture. How do you hold yourself? How do you feel within your heart? How is your heart beating? How is your abdomen breathing? How do your muscles, your bones, your skin feel? And allowing yourself to fully receive this awareness, to become so deeply connected to the physicality of your vessel that as you bring awareness to your vessel, what takes place is that the walls and the barriers that you've created out of separate mind start to dissolve. As we take the time to bring awareness to our being, we give thanks and gratitude to the ancestors that hold us, the guardians of the earth that are holding and assisting our great mother Gaia, Sister Tara, Dia Tari and Dotokoi and Dianai, De Eshetekiari and Diana. And I open us to the receiving of being connected to the great expression of the mother energy, the divine goddess, to anchor in and to fully receive her frequency, to know her holding, to know her nurture, and to fully activate and allow yourself to be filled by her. And simultaneously gift her your source expression. With intention, taking 3 deep breaths into the heart where you're going to breathe your sacred source, life force, to Mother Gaia. Breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. Allowing the gifting and the receiving with the lower realms of creation, the realms of matter, and the particles and the offering of stability in this reality. As we ask to bring our attention and awareness up into the higher states of being, to receive the higher expressions of frequency, wisdom, and infinite knowing, the ineffable intelligence of all of the light of information, and to open the crown chakra to receiving infinite intelligence. As you bring this information with the fullness in the above and the below, unified in the center of your heart, or in the middle of your being, you meet a state of unity where light and dark dissolve, where good and bad become one, in the recognition of Source and the perspective of all duality, allowing yourself to receive this, to be this, and to choose this. And in this choosing, all else dissolves away. Miataya Goria Tetekeriandianaya Ushutugoria Takayandiani Ne Esetekeria Tetagoyandiani. As you take 3 deep breaths to allow the unity of heart to expand and to become the torus field that you are, a multidimensional being, a spiritual expression, source light in form, having a human experience. Taking a deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. In through the nose and out through the mouth. In through the nose and out through the mouth. As you are now anchored and connected and in the center of your heart, I'm going to connect into the Council of One and to bring through the preparations for the responsibility, anchoring in the transition and the transmission that is of the highest good for all beings and the most relative and important for this point in time, in the directive of what I am being guided to do for humanity and assigned in my role and position as a channel for Source. As most of you are aware of at this point in time, you are moving through a massive purification process, a magnitude of information that is being transmuted through your physical molecular structure that is causing a sense of dysregulation and disharmony in the physical expression. Your cells and the molecules of your physical organic matter is transitioning in preparation for a vibratory shift of the earth. What is taking place is a rapid transformation. These cells must release a level of density that has existed in your ancestral line, your past life, traumatic karmic imprint, and your childhood programming that has caused you to have density, suppression, decay, and death within your physical vessel. These are energy signatures, and so what is required is not just the purification of your energy signature through the release of the trauma that sits within your experience, and where you have been the victim of entrapment, pain, control, patriarchal decisions, choices, volatility, that you are also at a point in the evolutionary process where accountability and responsibility for where you have been, these aspects of energy, for your family's lineage, where they have also been these energies, bending your individual and autonomous involvement. And what that means to give clarity, as we know how the human psyche cannot necessarily interpret our messages to the highest capacity of what is being spoken, is that as an individual, you are all at a different level of consciousness, beings that are of a higher caliber of remembrance and retain very little separation points have a higher responsibility, accountability, and ownership for these energy signatures. Beings that may be functioning in a fifth dimensional or a seventh dimensional consciousness will have a less need to cognitively make sense of what they are taking accountability and ownership for. Yet, what is required is the responsibility for your life. For you to assist yourself in the transition process and moving into the new earth, beyond the eclipse points and into the tipping point, you will need to take accountability and ownership and responsibility for the life you have created and the life that you desire to create. This is a level of consciousness where you no longer become the victim of your experience, but you become aware that you are the creator of it. It is a step of evolution and ego development that allows you to step out of life is happening to me, that I am beginning to be the creator of life. Now, this is not the highest evolvement of consciousness, because once you evolve beyond these and you transcend into a space of enlightenment, you recognize that the highest point is that you be, that creation just is. Yet, however, where you are at as a majority is that the victim consciousness needs to be relinquished and released for you to step into the creator consciousness. That I am responsible for my life in all aspects. That even the most heinous parts of your life experience were created so that you could reconcile a fragmentation. That you are indeed in responsibility for every aspect of your own trauma. Because the fragmentation that occurred through trauma was the forgetting of source. Trauma is not possible in a state of source connection. And so what is the core trauma? Forgetting your unique expression to the one creator of all that is. And so as you are at different points of evolution, your responsibility will be different. Yet it is necessary at this point to hold this one key theme as a guiding star. That anything in your life experience that you do not like, how did you create it? Anything that is in your dynamic of toxicity, why are you recreating it? Anything within your experience where you are not seen, validated, mistreated, why are you allowing it? You are the creator. Only you. And if you desire to see a shift on the planet, it is radical responsibility in the creator that you are to shift your own narrative and your own physical experience to line up to the creation energy of what you desire for the new earth. If you are living a life with people, with yourself, in a way that does not meet your desires for the earth, it starts with you. What are you creating? And what have you created? This self-reflection piece will allow for you to have the accountability and the radical responsibility that is required up until the eclipse. The eclipse is a point which allows for this level of ownership to be brought to light, to see your part at whatever level of evolution you are in to the creation of the current world experiences. To say to thyself that I created the earth this way. And if you cannot hold this recognition, then I created my life this way. In that is discomfort. In that is pain. In that is freedom. Because you have the opportunity to recognize every aspect of your life experience was created as a way for you to self-realize who you are. And to realize how you can create a new step-by-step process of redesigning and living your life by design, aligned with your source essence. So as you move through the pre-phase, coming up to the 8th of April, it is all about responsibility for the creative being that you are. This is your primary focus. It doesn't matter who you are or what level of evolution you are. Responsibility for what you're creating into the world. That will shift where we are going. After, and we would like to clarify as to why this is important, the eclipse and pending what has been made accountable and the direction of what you are creating, what have I created and what am I willing and only going to create, in a declaration of truth that I will not create an earth that I don't want to live on or be in. What is the necessary need for me to transition? That as this transition point begins to surface, that you have already decided what it is that you're choosing to create, and that you will not waver from that. And perhaps it's the choice to choose love. And anything that is not loving in your life, you start to let fall away. Perhaps it's the choice to choose transcendence. And any identities and distortions of human psyche melt away. Perhaps it's the choice to choose adventure, possibility, and discovery. That is up to you and your sacred heart's knowing. But you cannot choose until you take full responsibility for what you are now. As the eclipse nears, there is a follow-on period energetically where those that are riding the lower tides of this energy in the cusp of the bandwidth. And how we can make sense of dates is that there are people that are at the higher point of bandwidth, and so they are going through their eclipse early. Then there are those in the middle section of the bandwidth of frequency that will move through that over the time. And then there are the ones that are at the lowest point of the bandwidth that will go through it in the later time. And so what that means is that there has been a period of pre-preparation for those that are a higher evolved expression to rapidly purify in preparation for this time. And then there will be ones that will follow in the time after the eclipse. The transition is slow and instant. This is what happens when you have multiple ranges of consciousness in one space-time reality. And so although at the time of eclipse there is a point of instantaneous decision of what or who will be governing your planet, there will be a transition point that stabilizes that governing. So what you're seeing in the multidimensional is that there is a war of who takes guardianship over the earth. The guardians, if we could call them that are governing your earth have a fierce leadership that does not honor life. Their only desire is to maintain evolution and survival. As many of the beings that are holding Earth captive require the precious resources of this planet for their very own survival. What that means is that the theory or the story of mining gold has multiple interpretations of what that is. Yes, gold is a very precious metal. But gold exists much, much higher in frequency than in its physical formation in 3D reality. The mineral of gold is a representation of your chi. And the beings that are entrapping you in this experience are feeding off your chi to survive. We can have love and compassion for these beings if you can step back from your own story, as what you will see is that they are fighting for their own life, that they are in their reptilian brain, that they are in survival, that without this planet, the gold in its many formations, they are at a point that their life is in threat of existence. And so although you may have anger, rage, and persecution templates, suffering in relation to the patriarchy, the trauma of the raping and the pillaging of this earth, its land and its people, you may find that if you can open your awareness to the points in time that you have been in survival, that you would have done whatever it took to survive and live, that you may be able to see these beings differently. That is not to say that we accept their behavior, as there are other ways. There are opportunities that have been served upon and been offered in the form of reconciliation. Yet, not all beings are ready to choose unity. Not all beings are ready to step out of their own story to survive in a more prosperous way. And so what has come to be is the necessity to overthrow the current guardians of this planet through the means that are taking place as a unity of one council member. It is not our position, nor is it our intention or agenda or desire to be at war or to fight with anyone. And it is not our directive to intervene in these ways. And we will not. We will sit as the guardians of a higher evolved consciousness and bring message to your heart to remind you of how powerful you are beyond the separation point, to guide you back into the dreaming of truth. Yet there are others. There are specific frequencies and light beings that will continue the war as a way to overthrow the current agendas. At this point in time, it appears that these intentional councils that will do what is necessary to ensure a shift in planetary evolution of a higher frequency have the lens of perspective that they will do what is necessary for the ascension of the planet. Now, what I am expressing, what we are expressing to you is that these agendas have a tunnel vision of ascension to bring the earth into a higher evolved expression of a fifth dimensional consciousness. This appears to be beautiful to the untrained eye. Yet it is still one side that creates war. Beings that will do what it takes and create and justify collateral of life in their maneuvers to become guardian. There is never a point aligned with Source that killing is justifiable. Even in the distortions of your human mind of protection. That is a fragmented expression that has rippled through your consciousness so that you do not take accountability for the lack of honor of life that has been created on this planet. If you have sacred rage, and if you feel that you would save one life at the effect of all others, then you are holding deep distortions, brothers and sisters. And that it's time to take accountability and ownership for those aspects of your mind. All life, through the eyes of God, Source Creator, is honored. And that is why there is no necessity for war. That if one chooses truth and sovereignty, there is a realization that you do not need to fight in the way that your mind has created the delusion that will assist you. Fighting creates more separation. Division creates more separation. The idea of separation and not seeing where you are aligning and agreeing with one side continues the fragmentation, the suffering, the pain, and the trauma on this planet. So as this overthrow, in which the Council of One does not approve of, yet we do not judge upon. We witness and see it for what it is. That this shift in predicted governmental structures does not mean that your world will shift out of pain. Please be aware that although there are members of unity, earth angels here to remind that there is a long way until that reality manifests into actualization. As the changing guardianship occurs, there will be a 40-day follow, a solidification of your new governmental structures. Whoever wins, as you would see it, will allow for the solidification of that government. What that means for you as an individual being is that your focus of what you choose to create, whether you sit in fear or love, control, manipulation or unity, balance and synergy, joy, opportunity, or devastation, that you will directly affect whether or not this new government stays in pole position. That purification allows for the solidification. It is a domino effect, so as the ones that have already purified, they hold an anchor. This is where your anchoring comes in. You will know, pending where you're at, if you're in a point of purifying or anchoring. If you're at a point of anchoring and stability, this is your primary focus. Stay away from anything that affects your nervous system. Stay away from experiences that override your senses. Stay away from things that cause your body disharmony. Be accountable for your own stability and do what it takes in self-care and nurture to hold and anchor yourself into the frequency that you already are now. You do not need to evolve any further at this point in time. It is not about ascending into higher frequencies. It is about clearing and anchoring. We are not spending time up in the ether. We are becoming present in our now moment. And through this point of presence and being very, very slow and intentional with your dreaming, the shift will be more graceful on those that do not have the capacity and the ability to consciously dream, to consciously choose. Because the reality is that a large portion of your collective is in amnesia. And if you don't remember, then you can't choose, because you only know what you've been programmed to think. They do not have sovereign choice. You do. And it is your responsibility to recognize, for the ones that do not have this option, to stand strong in what you know now. So as this anchoring period takes place, pending each and every one of you, there will be the beginning of the tipping point of the North and the South Pole. This is predicted to be and beginning on the 4th of May 2024 at 6:04 a.m. the point of land that I reside on here in the now Brisbane Standard Time. This is the beginning of what you've trained your entire life to be here for. What this looks like is unknown. That transition is what you're creating now. Stop worrying about the future and start being with your life here now. The earth is evolving regardless. So how do you want to live? And what is important to you? That if the world did end, how do you want to live it now? What is your truth? And what does your soul speak? As we acknowledge that these transmissions are extremely frivolous to the consciousness, and that it is required for integration, relaxation, and time to allow for what is here for you to unfold with ease and grace. And to allow for this information to be met in the way that is most supportive for your individuality. As we ask that the neural pathways, the meridians, and the chakra systems all go through a realignment and recalibration process to receive and instantaneously integrate this information and this message, to allow for the molecular structure of the human body to transition as it transitions that of the earth matter. As above, so below. Allowing yourself now to take 3 deep breaths to ensure that you are anchoring this into your current now reality. Breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. Starting to come back and ground into your body. Allowing yourself any movement and what is necessary. And please ensure that you share any insights into the comments, remembering that interaction breaks down the algorithms so that this information can be shared with all other beings that are ready to receive it, and that please tag those that are in alignment with this message. My apologies for my camera going off, but hopefully you had your eyes closed and you received that invitation. I love you, Ahava. If you're feeling as though you need some additional support in anything that has been spoken, please reach out to me, and stay tuned for an in-person event that will be taking place for women over the eclipse period. For those that know who they are, to come together and anchor in the vision of the new earth. And I love you. I love you. I love you.